Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we're going to talk about psychosexual abuse, how it happens and what it is like to experience this kind of abuse in a narcissistic relationship. If you want to dive in with me and understand the nuances of this topic, please make sure to subscribe by pressing the subscribe button and push the bell icon to stay updated. Sexual abuse in narcissistic relationships is not as overt as you may want to think about it. There's a lot of violation of your personality, of your sexual self that happens at a subtle level, and most people fail to recognize it. The sexual coercion that happens in such a relationship is damaging beyond words. There is a lot of demoralization, degradation, and depersonalization that happens, but it doesn't feel like happening when it is happening to you. I can give you a small example and then you can connect the dots on your own. A narcissist slowly, gradually, and gently erodes your sexual boundaries. First, they see what you hate when it comes to sexual intimacy and then intentionally do it or make you do it. It could be sharing private pictures and videos and uploading them online on porn websites and then doing these things again and again, even when you do not want to do them, just to make you feel uncomfortable, to degrade you, to make you feel worthless, and to make you feel ashamed, guilty of things that you never did. Psychosexual abuse is one such crazy aspect of narcissistic relationships that is not talked about quite often. Some narcissists in some narcissistic relationships follow a very weird pattern around sex. They would have an intense argument with you, and during the fight, they would put you down, make you feel like a piece of trash, belittle you, and mess you up in so many ways psychologically. And then, right after this episode, this experience, they would want to have sex with you, which makes zero sense. Because who does that? How could you hate a person so much one instant and then the next instant you want to be intimate with them? The only thing that could explain this is the narcissist's desire to re-establish control over you, because they feel like they have lost you and they need to put you back in the cage, in the trap. The only way they see to get you back in this context is through sex, through intimacy, and through owning you that way. But that messes you up as a human being, because that intensifies the trauma bonding and that really creates this nauseating feeling towards sex and sexual intimacy in general. More about trauma bonding in a minute. Before we move further in this episode, I'm really curious to know, did you experience this? Let me know about your experiences in the comments below and help other survivors feel less alone in their experiences and in their recovery. The other big reason why a narcissist would want to have sex with you right after having an argument is because they are turned on by seeing you in pain or when they see you crying, which makes them a sadomasochist. Your pain gives them pleasure in a very bizarre and crazy way. They feel good, but sadistically. They get a high about being able to control you at such a deep emotional level. They feel good about being in control of your emotional state, which gives them a high, and then they are turned on in an orgasmic way, which is very arousing and that excites their nerves, and they want to have sex because they feel the rush of control over their environment and every element of it. As a person on the receiver's end, you feel devastated because you do not understand how someone would want sexual intimacy in a serious situation like this. You feel taken advantage of and used. You feel like an object that has no sexual identity of its own. In a nutshell, it's about power, not love or desire. Let's talk a little more about trauma bonding and how sex becomes a huge part, a huge component of it. In the beginning of the relationship, which we call as love bombing stage, sex is quite intense in some cases, but as time passes, things change and they deprive you of affection and connection, especially through sex. A time comes when sex becomes the only form of connection that you experience with a narcissist. They devalue you most of the time, and the only time you feel connected with them is when you have sex, which messes up the biochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin in your body. During the act, the hormones released in the body become a cocktail of different things that alter the perception of the connection that you have with this person. In simpler words, the perceived intensity of the connection with a narcissist is higher than what it is in reality. You get addicted and hooked to having sex with them. And this becomes another issue they shame you for later. They call you hypersexual, nymphomaniac, or satyromaniac for wanting to have sex with them. Your drive is altered by the changes in your biochemistry, and sex becomes a huge thing that you become addicted to and something that you crave for even after leaving the narcissist. Have you experienced this? What have been your experiences like, and what helped you in your recovery process? Share your experiences and answers in the comments below. That was it for today's episode. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, let the healing begin.